Hey, it's Scott. Welcome back. I hope you're doing well. So, I have a quick video to go through on some terminology soup for the business analytics professional. And this is video number 8 in the series. You can check out that playlist. Um, let's just go ahead and get started. So, let's see. I love this cartoon, absolutely. So this is something that one of my connections put out there on LinkedIn. So thanks to Peter for doing this, and want to give him credit. And he said it was fine to use, but this is what we're going through. We're going through generations of where we have terminology changing, but 90% of it is the same stuff, or maybe even more, like 95 or 99% of it is the same stuff. So, yeah. So as a statistician, I can prove to you that everything that we're doing today has some sort of statistics behind it. Doesn't matter what you're doing. But then, we have to get into machine learning, which there is some unique capability of machine learning. Now we have artificial intelligence, and we have all these different terms, and that's really kind of what I want to talk about right now is some of the terminology. So takeaways, we'll quick look at the analytics sea of terms. I call it, or maybe it's soup. Analytics soup is probably a more apt name. And then someone was talking about decision science, and that's an old term, actually. That's like 80s vintage, but maybe that's the most descriptive thing that we're doing today is we're trying to make decisions with data, right? Those decisions could be fully automated, human out of the loop, where the machine is making the decision and acting, autonomous vehicles or whatever. But then you have human in the loop as well. So, but it really does have to deal with action and decision making that we're really trying to do with this whole thing. So we'll talk about why we need data literacy, and then why we need analytics literacy as well. And I distinguish the two, and then some generally accepted categories for analytics. And then next time we'll be talking about pricing analytics for B2B. And hopefully you can join me for that. That's more of an application. So the analytics sea of terms here, this is an ugly slide. It's actually meant to be. And so one of the reasons that I did this slide was that, looking for everything that's coming down the pike, we have all these different terms that apply to data science and et cetera. But then we have a lot of different types of analytics. And so really in the end, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but really in the end, when I was looking for an overarching term, I have a video, we talked about AI kind of being an overarching term as well, but analytics, there's so many functional types of analytics. Functional means marketing analytics, financial analytics, cyber analytics. So what, specific to a business use case, a type of analytics that we go through. And then with data science and types of analysis, we go through, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, healthcare analytics, more domain specific as well. So anyway, that's the reason in the end I ended up calling the book It's All Analytics, because there were AI cases, there were forecasting cases, there were prediction cases, there were all these different cases, but really it kind of fell underneath one of those types of analytics. Again, whether it be by a function within an organization, or whether it be by a type of mathematics or heuristic or computer science that you were trying to go through to get an answer, kind of like even like operations research type stuff. So anyway, but then when I saw this thing and we were talking about it, decision science, maybe that is the best term that's out there, even though it's very dated. It's like the 80s or something, but it's really about making decisions. So I'd like to know what you think. You can post a comment to this video in YouTube, or you can reach out on LinkedIn. I'll probably post this on LinkedIn. I'd like to know what you think. But one of the driving forces is we have to keep this fresh, right? So people always want the shiny object that's ahead, and you can see a video that I did previously on AI, and even though it was coined in the 1950s, it's exploding now because it's bright and it's shiny, and people love that. It's going to cure every ill that we have in mankind now. So anyway, regardless of what you call it, we do need really what I've used two different types of analytics. One is on the data side. You got to understand the data, how to move the data, what the data means. And then you also have to squeeze the information out of that data, which was originally another term. Data mining was all about looking for the nuggets within the data itself. Data mining, just like mining for gold, you're mining for information from the data, another term. So really those are kind of two different things. One is capturing, collecting, cleaning the data, making sure that it's available for analysis, it's reflective of reality, and then boom, you bring in on top of it the analytic techniques, the math, the computer science, the business domain on top of the data to try to make a better decision. So that's kind of it. So I love this quote from Casey Panetta. Which is great metaphor. She's talking about an organization that, imagine, I'll just read it. Imagine an organization where the marketing department speaks French, the product designers speak German, the analytics team speaks Spanish, and no one speaks a second language. That's essentially how data-driven business functions when there is no data literacy. So that's the reason that we need data literacy. And then a follow-up from Valerie Logan. So prevalence of data analytics capabilities, including artificial intelligence, requires creators and consumers to speak data as a common language. Data analytics leaders must champion workforce data literacy as an enabler of digital business and treat information as a second language. And as of 2020, not too long ago, about half of the organizations lacked data literacy skills. So that is why we need data literacy. And a few additional points here. So analytics is getting really too broad, right? So it's very difficult to kind of stay in your lane these days. And especially in business analytics, you're going to be impacted no matter what business function that you have. It's analytics is going to be part of it. Whether you're a consumer of those analytics making business decisions, or you are a provider of those insights as well. So every business professional will have some sort of analytics as part of their job. I know this is targeted more towards the producer. And then you have to be an intelligent consumer, right? So I love this. I had a professor say, everything you read, you should say, why is this person lying to me? And so think of that. And it's very cynical, but it's mostly true, often true. So why am I lying to you? So what does that have to do with anything? So what's in it for me? We all deal with that every day. And so you have to take information as a perspective of the person that's presenting that information, including this guy here. And you don't have to be an expert in everything, but a basic fluency is extremely helpful. So just to very quickly kind of go through, there's 4 generally accepted categories for analytics and what we're trying to do. There's the descriptive analytics, which answers the question, what happened, right? Those can be, reports, that can be visual dashboards, that sort of thing, but it's very retrospective. It's looking at what happened. And then there is why did it happen? And so that's more of the diagnostic analytics, why, the question of why. And then the next level up is the predictive analytics, what is going to happen. Machine learning and a lot of AI is geared towards, what will happen. That's the predictive. And then the next level up is in the prescriptive analytics. And how can we make it happen, right? So that is, if we move this dial here and this dial over here, what is going to happen, right? So how can we control what will happen? And then I won't touch really much on process optimization, but anyway, at this point, maybe later. But the interesting thing is the blue boxes, you only have to have correlation in your variables, and the red boxes, you actually have to have causation. And this is one of my big interests, big fields, is the difference between these two. And a lot of analytics professionals get this wrong. You cannot hope that a model is prescriptive, that if you switch this knob, you're going to get the action that you want. It actually turns out that only works if you have a causation between the variables. And maybe we'll get to that down the line. But as you go up the level of cognition, the human cognition, human in the loop goes down, right? So human in the loop on the very low, descriptive analytics, you're looking at a report, you're looking at a dashboard, you're determining, okay, the Northeast is doing better than the West. And then if I drill through and in this dashboard, then I can see that these are the factors that seem to be making up for that difference. So it's very much human cognition in the brain. But as you move up, then it's more of the machine that's taking over. So it's more the computer algorithm that is doing the thinking for us. And my fear is that we're going to depend too much on some of the new deep neural networks and that sort of thing, and we're going to try to take the human out of the loop, and we're going to have problems with that. All right, so I like to keep these short. You can see this and more in this first book in the series. It's all analytics, and again, maybe it should be it's all data science, or I'm sorry, decision science. But anyway, that was the first book, and analytics is all over. And again, we did a 3-part series with different things in mind for that. The literacy part, number 1, the organizational part, which you need in your organization, part 2, for structure in people, data, and the analytic stack. And then part 3 is just some brainstorming about what you can do with analytics. And so hopefully we covered all of these. We covered the terms, decision science, and so in the other 2, the need for data literacy and analytics literacy, and the progression of cognition, and then Next time, we'll talk about pricing analytics for B2B, business to business. And so that'll be interesting, a little bit different variant from what we're doing. So anyway, I hope that was meaningful, and I wish you the best. And please leave me a comment.